All right, welcome everyone. Today we have Shane Athley Strayer. He's a driven maritime and supply chain management student at Old Dominion University with exceptional leadership and logistics management skills. President of Old Dominion University Propeller Club and taking pride in organizing events that provide students with valuable networking and industry opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Athley Strayer.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. Today I will be moderating the student panel. I've gathered a amazing selection of panels from both across the nation and internationally. So today our first panelist that we will start out with is Guthier. He is 20 years old. He is currently studying shipping law at the University of Nantes. He is a part of the student port in Nantes, where he holds a position of communication manager. I'll turn his camera on in a sec and wave hello.
Hello, everyone. So yes, first, I really wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this webinar tonight. I mean, today for you, but tonight for us, because it's actually 7 p.m. in France. So so my name is Gauthier Principal. I'm from the student port of Nantes-Saint-Nazaire Propeller Club, and I'm currently studying shipping and maritime law at the Nantes University Law School. So yes.
All right. Our next panelist is Andy. He is an international student from Vietnam pursuing a career in supply chain management at the University of South Florida. His goal is to bring the Propeller Club to his campus in 2025.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me here on the panel. Like Shin mentioned, I'm an international student from Vietnam, and I had a pleasure to attend the convention, with Shane, and he gave me this invite, so I'm very grateful. My goal, like Shane also mentioned, is to bring the Propeller Club to University of South Florida in 2025. We already have a supply chain club, but I feel we're still lacking a maritime perspective of it. So thank you.
All right. Next up is Matthew. He is a senior from the California State University Maritime Academy, majoring in international business and logistics and minoring in law. He recently completed an internship as a ship agent and is currently represents the CMA Propeller Club as their treasurer. Welcome.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for letting me come on the panel today. I'm very honored. I had a great time at the conference, and I'm hoping to be able to answer some great questions today. So thank you.
And last but not least, I also brought someone else from my university. I'd like to introduce Parker. He's a sophomore at our university studying maritime and supply chain management with an interest within the cruise ship industry. He is our vice president, and he is an amazing person on my team.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. I want to thank all of you for coming to the panel tonight and for bringing all of us students to the IPCC convention a few weeks ago. It was truly an incredible experience, and I'm excited to talk about with you here.
All right. Now that I've introduced all of the students on our panel, we're going to jump into some of the questions. First up, how would you describe your experience at some of the student events, along with the challenges you encountered along the events, whether that's networking or just getting used to the setting? Gutierrez, if you want to go first.
Yep. So yeah, for me, and for all the French students who participated in this convention, attending the APC convention in Tampa, Florida was an incredible experience, I think, for all of us, allowing my friends and I to discover this unique event. So for most of our group, it was our first time in the US. We were really warmly welcomed, not only by the professionals, but also by the American students. with whom we built like really strong relations and connections through these 3 incredible days. So yeah, the conferences were pretty diverse and insightful, addressing like key challenges for the future of the maritime industry, such as security issues, for example, or ecological transition subjects. So yeah, it was also a great opportunity for us to represent our schools, the student sport network of the French-speaking region, and we really appreciated the enthusiasm people showed to come to the next convention that will be held in France at the port of Lyon next year. Yes. I think that's it for me.
Next up is Andy. What were your
Yes, yes. So before coming to the events, like I said, we did not have a club on campus, and I did not know a whole lot about maritime. But the student events, make sure that I'm prepared with other networking, activity, with networking with the leaders in the industry, make me feel, warm up and know a bit more about maritime before going into all the panels. One challenge I have, I believe, is with selling the tickets. I know it's a fun activity. It's a good deed as well as to help the students for next year. But sometimes I find did not come very natural for me when why in a conversation with people. Maybe it's just my problem. I know Shane sell a lot of tickets, so it's something that I need to learn from him for next year. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I was followed up by Gutierrez. He gave me a run for my money there. But next up is Matthew. What was your experience like for challenges?
So, I was initially pretty nervous going to the event. That was by far the largest conference I've ever been to. And I've previously struggled with networking at other conferences. So I really appreciate that they took the time to help us like enhance our skills and networking. Um, so just being given the opportunity to talk to these professionals and get advice from them was an amazing experience. I also really like that we were able to practice with each other, and we were given time to help each other sort of apply the skills that they were teaching us before actually going out to the conference and networking with people for real. The hands-on experience is definitely invaluable, and it really helped me develop my professional communication skills. Um, the biggest challenge I would say I faced was keeping a conversation going on for an extended period of time. I was sort of able to get around this by kind of just thinking about what I was going to say before I actually approached someone. But yeah, sometimes my mind just sort of blanks out. But what the skills they taught me definitely helped me avoid that.
All right. Parker, you're up next.
Well, I just want to say it was an incredible honor going to the convention. The next largest thing that the ODU Propeller Club has ever been a part of is the Virginia Maritime Association's annual convention and banquet. And the International Propeller Club convention is much, much bigger scale than that. So it was one of the challenging things was getting to network with a lot of people. There were hundreds of people there. So figuring out who to talk to, when to make those connections, that was a bit of a challenge, but I will say the Tampa Propeller Club, they had a few events at the beginning of each day with all the international students where they would help us learn how to network, get our best foot forwards and all of that. So I really appreciated that.
All right. Some great questions for our first round of questions. Next up, which panel or speaker did you guys find the most captivating and memorable, and what stuck with you even after the conference? I think we'll go in reverse order this time. So Parker, if you want to start this time.
So the most interesting panel to me actually was not a panel. On the third day, we got to meet with Kathy Castor. She's Florida's District 14 representative for the House of Representatives. And the Tampa Propeller Club brought her in to talk to the students before talking to the broader convention. And we had a really interesting conversation about the future, because there's a lot of issues in the maritime and especially the supply chain world around the world right now. And oftentimes we don't like talking about issues. We don't like talking about negative things in the world, but we kind of need to. We need to talk about these issues because the solutions are how we inspire the next generation and how we get more people into this industry. So that was a really insightful conversation we had with her. And just having a representative from the House, like that was the type of person that was there at the convention to meet with us. So it really was an incredible opportunity.
Matthew, you're up next. What was your favorite?
For me, I really like the piracy on the high seas panel. Um, so the panelists just seemed like really well educated on the topic. They gave a historic overview of piracy and its impact on the maritime industry in the United States during like the 18th and 19th centuries. And then they sort of shifted into talking about the modern day challenges of piracy and the threats it poses and how the military is dealing with it. I just I thought it was really fascinating. Um, I know piracy is no longer the biggest threat to the maritime industry, but I just historically it was always one of the biggest factors, and even today I still like learning about it and how the military and private companies are still working to combat it.
That was personally one of my favorites too. Andy, you're up next. What was your favorite?
Yeah, so the panel that I find most interesting would be the gray wave in the maritime. I was surprised when I even know this is even a topic. But when I scan the room, uh, I see a lot of older people in the room, more than the students. So I think there's a lot going on in my mind. I thought to myself, why we don't have a maritime club already at USF. We have a big chapter of supply chain club, but not a lot of people know about maritime, even the supply chain students. So I think the information campaign should be pushed like more and harder. So that's why I decided that in a few months I want to cooperate with the Propeller Club, to bring a chapter, at least a chapter to the University of South Florida. And it stick to me until now. I'm still thinking about it.
Thank you. Gutierrez?
Yes, actually, for me, I had like three favorite panel discussion. I mean, two panel discussion and one who was not a panel discussion. So first, as Matthew said, the piracy at the IC was really interesting, particularly because it was really interesting to see like the difference and the different approach between like the European approach on this subject perspective, I mean, and the American perspective. But also it was also interesting to see our common point of view. I also really appreciate like the conference on healthcare services provided to seafarers by the Port of Tampa. And it was impressive to see how US ports prioritize the needs of seafarers and actively take consideration of these critical issues. And lastly, I particularly also really enjoyed the conference of Dorothea Ionanu, which addressed how like P&I clubs are tackling the new challenges facing the maritime industry. Her insights were highly relevant, I think, to the evolving challenges of maritime insurance. Yeah.
Okay. All very good panels, all very. Next up, we all gathered up together from different areas and we all operate our own student clubs in different ways. I know for Andy, he's starting to start up his Propeller Club, so this will be a good thing to take away what he learned from other Propeller Clubs. What insight did you gain from engaging in conversation with other leaders and members of other student Propeller Clubs? And how can you bring that back to your club and implement it within your club? We'll start off with Gutierrez this time.
So yeah, I think the different I mean, I met a lot of students during these 3 days, and I think this experience like really highlighted the importance of opening like the student port to a wider diversity of academic backgrounds and formation. Many students, I thought, like came from supply chain and logistic programs. I mean, in the US student ports particularly, and it will be like really valuable to engage with these fields and incorporate them like in our student sports in the French-speaking region in France. I mean, yeah. So I learned a lot about also like the differences between like the US maritime schools and the French maritime schools. It was particularly interesting to attend also like all the sessions on networking because it's not a topic it is commonly like covered in our studies in France. So yeah, very interesting.
Next up, Andy. What do you?
Yes, so I learned a lot, from the leaders as well as others, student as well. From the leaders, I talked to people who's been in the industry for 20, 30 years. They try a lot of position. And I just know there's just a wide variety of job that we can have in the maritime industry. That's something that's very, new to me. I never thought about it. So I think that's something could be very interesting for the students. And what I learned from the other student port club is that the interaction between the student club and the port is very important. It's something that integrated. We need that support from the port as well, and the port need the student as well. So that's something I'll be looking into before I try to open anything at USF.
And Matthew, what about you? You're at more of a academy than university, so how does that differ and what did you learn from a university club versus an academy?
Um, the main thing I learned from interacting with the other student clubs would be that we don't, at least for the Cal Maritime Propeller Club, we don't really interact much with propeller clubs outside of the Propeller Club of Northern California, and especially not for their student propeller clubs. Um, the only instance where we really do is the international conference. So I think it might be beneficial for us to maybe try to partner with other student clubs around the country or the world and maybe just like host online events and just sort of interact with each other more. Also, I think we should try to develop partnerships with other propeller clubs around the country. Maybe do port visits, that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess I never really realized the scale of the propeller clubs that sort of helped me realize that, I feel like we can expand a lot more.
What about you, Parker? What insight did you gain from other
Yeah,
clubs?
so one of the most interesting nights from my experience was when the Propeller Club of Tampa treated us all to a tour of Tampa's port on the yacht Starship. And while I was on the yacht, I got the chance to talk to some members of Charleston's Propeller Club. And we had a conversation about what we can do to help their student propeller clubs and get younger people interested in the world of maritime and supply chains. Because that's hard. That's a hard thing to do. But we were having this discussion on a boat while we were looking at bigger boats. It's like, oh, what are we doing? It's about the ship. It's always about the ships. So if you put somebody next to a ship, they're not going to be bored. They're going to have questions. What's on the ship? Where's it going? Why? So at ODU, we're trying to build a culture of ship spotting, like exposing people to the ships, because that'll get them interested in the careers and the industries associated around them. So this semester and next semester, we're bringing back our maritime photo contest for all students at Old Dominion University. And the idea is just cash prizes. You go take a picture of something maritime related, supply chain related, something maritime, and you might win cash prizes. It gives us promotional pictures to take. It gets people motivated to go finding ships, building a ship spotting culture. So that's one of the big takeaways with us. Just show people the ships, and that might be the catalyst that gets them interested in all of it.
All right. All great insight. And the stronger we're together, the better we all are. Our last question is more away from the conference and more on the students themselves. What are your aspirations and plans for careers in the maritime industry after you graduate? We're kind of side of the industry. It's a very wide industry. And what do you want to do in that industry? We'll start up with Guthier. What's your aspirations?
So after graduating from law school, I would like to work as a marine insurance broker, particularly preferably, I mean, abroad. And I think this conference convinced me to come to the US because, yeah, it was great. And like people were really welcoming, and you feel that in your country, everything is possible. I don't want to make the cliche about like the American dream, but it was kind of true, I would say. And yeah, I really like the importance you're putting on networking, and not only on the also academic diploma, but also like on the personality of people and the way they just like, yeah, they resolve like challenges by themselves, yeah, and the way they are.
Andy, what about you?
So just like Gothia, I'm an international student, so I want to stay in the US as well. You know, it's a huge industry, not just in the maritime, the supply chain in general. It's a lot of role, a lot of job, a lot of opportunity for us. But personally, I'm a junior in college, but I have not have a clear vision of what I really want to do in the supply chain. But what I know for sure is that before coming to the convention, maritime was not an option for me because I did not know anything about maritime at all. But after this, it is a very, very promising option and what I really, seriously consider in the next 2 years.
Matthew, what about you?
So just like Guthier, I'm also interested in marine insurance. I was actually introduced to it through a event that our student propeller club was invited to, and I just end up really liking it. I'm particularly interested in underwriting. I've taken a couple classes at my school for marine insurance, which is pretty. Our school offers these specialized classes that most other schools I don't think offer. So it sort of just seems like the right path for me to go on. I'm also working towards a certification with the American Institute of Marine Underwriters, which will hopefully help me secure a job after graduation.
Okay. And before I ask my last participant, if you have any questions for any of the panelists or me, please ask them in the Q&A section and I'll make sure to ask them because I would like to open up the floor to questions. But I just wanted to get that in there so we can start getting those questions rolling in and ready for when we finish up. Parker, sorry to keep you waiting there for a second, but what are your aspirations? Where do you want to take yourself in the
So I'm currently a sophomore studying maritime and supply chain management at Old Dominion University. My goal is to go into more of the port operations and port management side of things. At ODU, we have a waterfront where we can see part of the Port of Virginia. So every night at the sunset, I just go there to watch the ships sail by. It's all about the ships. So my goal would be really to go into the port operations. Shane alluded to earlier that I love cruise ships. While we were down in Tampa, there were 3 cruise ships that called. I went to the ports to go look at all of them as close as I could get. It's incredible. So that's what I'm aiming for. 2.5 more years left at ODU, and then we'll see.
All right. An amazing set. If I see we already have one question in the Q&A. Would you all be interested to do more student-hosted Zoom panels in the future? Our ODU chapter is thinking of hosting and also putting out some of our student interactions within the panel. There's also a answer from James and Christy that I will let them take over real quick.
No, sorry, I'm just marking it as you
Oh,
take the questions.
so yeah, that was my response. What is Gutierrez? Let's start off with you for that question.
More,
We
yes.
can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I think it will be like a great thing to have more panel like this with international students to keep like this international DNA of the Propeller Club. Yeah.
Andy, how about you?
I think it's panels like this is just a way for students to express the experience and also the questions that we have for the people in the industry. So it's always great to be a part of a panel, and for sure if any opportunity in the future come up, I'll be part of it.
Matthew, how about you?
I'd say yes as well. Panels like this are a great way for students to interact with the Propeller Club and to sort of help them understand the maritime industry and sort of put themselves out there.
Parker?
Absolutely. I mean, the other students were one of the most fun parts of the convention, just meeting people from all around the world. We got along great with especially the French delegation, some incredible people. But yeah, one of the discussions we've been talking about with the Old Dominion Propeller Club is potentially Zoom recording our speaker series so that other International Propeller Club students in chapters across the country and the world can also take part in some of the programs we're starting up. That way, just more opportunities for everybody. We're all in the same boat. We can all help each other out.
All right. The next question I have was, how valuable was it to connect to other students in Propeller clubs? I'll start up with Parker this time.
Well, I'll just say it was incredibly valuable. We got to meet almost all the other students at the hotel before our first event the night we got there, which was incredible. Like, as I said, we all helped each other out during the convention. When we met people, we told each other, hey, you should go meet this person. The students, we really helped each other out, and it was great. It was one of the best parts of the experience.
Matthew, what about you?
I'd say it was definitely very valuable. It was awesome meeting other young people who are also interested in maritime. All the people I met at the conference, I'm still in contact with to this day. So it's great just to have this network of people who I could talk to about, maritime, and just, we can help each other network, find jobs, and it's just great meeting other students.
Andy, how about you?
Yeah, so coming into this, I did not know anyone in the other student club because we did not have a club ourselves, and but we had a real great experience networking with other students, know more about what they do, and especially what their goal is, which is to promote the maritime industry. And I think it's very important for the other student club to meet together maybe once, maybe twice a year, in order to have the plans to have the industry grow stronger and faster.
Gutierrez?
Yeah. So I would say that for me, it was very valuable and interesting to discuss on maritime topics and see our like difference And also like it's always a good thing to exchange like different culture, I mean. And yeah, I would say also like it's great to make like contacts for later, because in our like next professional life we will be, I think, like the maritime industry is a really small world, so I think we will see each other again, I guess. So yeah, really important to have like an international network in this industry, I would say. Yeah.
It's a very small industry, so I have bets on I will see each of y'all again at some point, whether it's at France at the next convention or maybe over another Zoom call.
Yes, you have to come.
If there are not any more questions, I will, unless any of the panelists want to add anything, I will pass it off to Jeremy. All right. Jeremy, if you would like to take the floor now.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I appreciate everyone. I enjoyed the international conference and everything, and I'm glad that people came. We had more students than ever with that. And I'm so glad that all of you were able to make it who did. And hopefully we can have even more next year when we go over to Lyon. So I'm super excited for that. Just keep the excitement going. So this is what I say for students. Keep the excitement going for in your own group, because I want you to go back, get them excited for the next ones coming up, so that we could have even a more explosive time there. And if you do need me, feel free to reach out to me. All of you should have my information on how to reach me. Tell me what we could do to do anything better to assist you in your groups. But that's pretty much all I have. Thank you so much, everyone. I greatly appreciate all of you so much. You don't understand how much I love it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for letting me moderate, and have a great day.